Welcome to another episode of Live and Loud, and I want to apologize in advance for the quality and the sound of this week's show because it's unplugged. Basically, I can't find my gear anywhere around the house, and the reason why it's a home production is because I've got the Rona, or the vid, or COVID-19. And so yeah, I woke up feeling at 3:39 a.m. last Thursday. I woke up feeling and understanding why it's called the Delta variant. If anybody remembers from the 80s, Delta Force with Chuck Norris, you'll know why this thing is called the Delta variant, because it will kick you in your beep. Yeah, not that kind of show, remember? So yeah, it had me squirming like no fever I ever had before, contorting like Regan from that film, The Exorcist, you know, the version we saw in the 80s when it was banned during apartheid for whatever reason. Maybe they were worried that more lighties were going to get involved in Satanism and stuff. But yeah, I was making those gesiggies and my body was moving around in shapes that I didn't know I could. Like a contortionist, like a thinking that this was it now. I wanted an imam or a maulana or a priest or even a rabbi to just come and stand next to me and whisper some sweet comforts into my ear, or Monet Stein in a hazmat suit just holding my hand because there's nothing this guy can't do. He won the British and Irish Lions series for us. Him with the help of Chesn Colby, the guy that was too small according to Heineke Meyer. But anyway, I digress. So I'm feeling a lot better today. Today's day 5. I've been eating like there's no tomorrow while I can still taste and smell. As you can hear, even my dogs are feeling sorry for me because they're in isolation themselves. But guys, I made a lot of jokes now, but this is very, very serious. Without being vaccinated about 2 weeks ago, it probably would have been a lot worse for me. My oxygen levels are fine, and so is that of my wife. We're coping. We're assuming that the kids have COVID as well, and so we've isolated from everybody. Don't take a chance with this thing. This thing will kill you. Get the vaccination. Don't listen to anybody if they're not a doctor. I've had some unsolicited advice from a lot of you out of care. I've also seen the best out of people, some of my friends, if I can mention them by name. Diesel van der Westhuizen and Mike Fannin, people like Nawal, Andreas Ishmael, and countless others who've sent messages of support. Among them Ishmael and Amar Hussain for dropping off goodies for us. The generosity has been unbelievable. But guys, you will get conflicting advice. Just listen to your doctor. I'm sitting in the sun now because I don't have vitamin D, and apparently that helps. But yeah, I've been told by many people ivermectin is the way to go. Suma, put your ginger beer in the microwave with a little bit of Disprin. Apparently Disprin's not, or any aspirin is the way to go. So Panado, get some flu stuff, but make sure that your doctor's approved it because everybody's different. Please don't listen to anybody who's not a doctor and get jabbed, for heaven's sake. It's the only reason possibly why I'm still sitting here and being able to do this episode with you. This is the Live and Loud section where we talk about things happening in our newsrooms or in current affairs in South Africa. And I thought it was appropriate to wear pajama shirt because this is the COVID-19 edition of the show, but also because the president's been sleeping on the job again. We had cabinet reshuffles, but I actually don't see what the point of it all was. It's the same people, and many have likened it to rearranging the deck chairs on the Titanic. I'm with him. You know, we've had the same people in charge. We keep on recycling them. We don't see any tangible differences in moving forward. I don't want to be too critical, but without actually telling people that they messed up and signaling to the constituencies that people in the security cluster in particular have messed up in the last couple of weeks, you're condoning it by not saying anything about the lack of intelligence when it came to insurrection. So yeah, granted, we South Africa, we always do things differently. Like, we're not just going to have a pandemic, we'll have an insurrection as well. And then on top of that, we'll have taxi violence. But our police, so-called police and security cluster intelligence failed us, and heads needed to roll. In the same way, personal protective equipment, money is meant for that, went missing, nobody was fired. We've got a health minister, or we had a health minister, he's been replaced since, who has an allegation of laundering money into a company called Digital Vibes to promote people to go for the vaccination. And that is just, in a situation like we're living in, it's not good enough. A cabinet reshuffle, we wanted people to get fired, and we wanted the president to say, like a Donald Trump or whatever version of The Apprentice you watch, I wanted to hear the president say, you fired. For Live and Loud News, I'm Gesante Bader, Cape Town. I'm not going to do a blind test this week because I'm without the crew and I'm doing this myself. But apart from that, I'm competing with the neighbors there who are playing with their kid and their dog, which is absolutely fine. This is what we find ourselves in the new normal. So just bear with me. You guys can hear me fine. It will get better as we go back to the studio when I'm better. But I wanted to talk about these unsolicited phone calls, spam calls, and without this app, Truecaller. Now, I recommend this app. If you don't have it on your phone already, I recommend it very highly. You get a free version, and then you get a paid-for version. The paid-for version is obviously comes with a lot of more features, but if you don't have the paid-for version, it's fine. It will actually take other people's recommendations of spam calls, and it will create a list. So when your phone rings, it will say, avoid this. Sometimes it's very rude. It will say, Eskom Samasa, and so onwards. And it's a very helpful guide to avoid those unsolicited cold calls where people are selling anything from insurance to second-hand cars to airtime and cell phones, and a lot of them are actually scams. Now, what you need to know is that there is a new act that came into effect on the 1st of July. It's called the Protection of Personal Information Act. You don't have to put up with this. You can report them. You can report them on social media. You can tell them to stop and take you off their databases. And if they persist, there is actually an avenue for you to report spam and unsolicited calls. So yeah, King Price Insurance, if you're listening to this, I'm on to you guys. I've asked you a few times to take me off your database. If you're going to continue doing this, I'm going to take further action against you guys. I feel sorry for the people who work in call centers, because it's a job for them, so we don't have to be rude to them. We can just say thank you, but thanks, no thanks. I don't actually need more insurance, I've already got. But you don't actually have to take that call if you've got the Truecaller app. Remember, those people are just making a living, so you don't have to be mean to them. It's difficult times we're all living in, and the call center industry is actually quite big. It's actually the marketing people in these companies who think these cold calling campaigns are effective. They're the ones who are the real enemies. And on that note, don't be cucked to those people, just be lekker. And until we see each other next week, hopefully, please pray for me and my family. We're going to get through COVID-19, and we will have a much better production soon, as soon as I'm better. For Live and Loud, gesante waarde.